Welcome to From Zero to Streamer, the social media journey. In this podcast, we dive deep into the world of social media streaming, unraveling the step by step journey of becoming a successful content creator. Each episode features interviews with seasoned streamers, with social media experts, and influencers who share their stories, tips, and lessons learned. Whether you're starting from scratch or looking to level up your game, we'll cover essential topics such as building an audience, selecting the right platform, creating engaging content, managing mental health, and monetizing your stream. Join us as we explore the highs and lows and everything in between to the path of turning your passion into a thriving career in the digital world. Whether you're into gaming, lifestyle, music, or vlogging, this podcast will help you find your niche and thrive in the competitive world of social media streaming. Welcome, Diesel. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me today.
All right. So I'm not sure if you heard some of the other podcasts, but this basically, we're interested in your journey. So to
Okay.
start, here's the very basic question, which is very general, and we can go anywhere with it. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your path to streaming, to being here as a social media
Well,
streamer.
a little bit about myself. I'm over here on the eastern side of the United States. I'm over here in Pennsylvania. And, I'm in my early 40s. And, as far as in social media, I've seen that it's starting to take off a lot with the different technology that's available and the different opportunities that are available. And I actually said, you know what? On my downtime in between my main job, I do construction work. Why not dive deep into it? Because I've always been one of the individuals that I'm really big into technology and how to advance myself and learning things. And I said, you know what? A lot of these kids play the video games. I want to get on here and talk to somebody. And I use different platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and anything I can to interact with people. So I was like, this is my niche for me. I like this.
Where did you start?
Where I started out at was on let's see, it was Instagram. Instagram was the first one that I started out with, and it gave you only back when I was doing it, it only gave you a couple minutes to go live, and you had to have different topics and this and that. And I was like, I was interested in it, but I didn't have nothing to really talk about. So then I found TikTok. Once I found TikTok, I seen that it was endless possibilities of to be able to go live as long as you want. And, it's vast across the world that you'll have people come in from every different nationality, country that has a digital phone and able to log in on TikTok. And it just kind of just stuck with me.
And when did you start this journey on TikTok?
Ooh, I would say my journey with this on TikTok probably about 2.5, 3 years ago. It was prior COVID, um, and a little bit after COVID, I laid it down, and then I decided to get back on board with it whenever I had a little bit more downtime. Because normally we typically don't work in the wintertime; it's slow time for us. Um, but right now, I don't think that it's not going to be a slow year. We're just in between different phases and projects. So yeah, I use TikTok a lot of times to do my streaming, and I enjoy it a lot.
Do you remember your first time streaming by any chance?
Yes, I do. I do so much, and anybody who's ever actually got into streaming, that first time there, you feel like you're in a big hall by yourself, talking to yourself, and you see other content creators. They got hundreds of people in there, and you're just like, how do I get to that level? How did I get to that? How do I get to that level? And you'll get some people that will pop in and some will jump out. But the first time I went live was probably about 2.5 years ago, and I didn't know what to talk about. So I had to hurry up and jump off of there and go to YouTube and say, what do creators that are new, beginners, talk about on their lives? And they said basically, talk about your hobbies, your interests. And if you like to talk, then just talk and share your information. So it was kind of nervous at first. And then you start building rapport with people. And then they come to support your live and help you out. And next thing you know, the ball just rolls from there.
Do you remember what prompted you to hit that go live button?
I gained access. That's what it
The
was.
notification system
The
worked.
yeah, the notification let me see that I have had an achievement. Back then, you had
Oh, it
to
was,
have
yes.
yeah, you had to have a decent amount of followers in order to gain access. And when I got that notification, I was like, well, they're just pushing the envelope and they want me to have access, so let's just see what we can do. And that's
I
it
think
just went from there.
I think when I met you, it was
Right.
relatively on your beginning journey of actual streaming, and
Uh-huh.
at that time, I want to say it was about 1,000 followers,
Yes. Yes.
and that
Yeah.
wasn't easy. Your initial 1,000, I felt like it was the hardest, and now it's like I believe 50, and you can hit that go live
Oh
button
my
on
gosh.
TikTok.
Oh my gosh. They that must also be free from because I know it was a struggle for us. We were out here pretty much like candy stripers. You catch us at the local grocery store. Hey, can you give me a follow? I'll give you a follow. What's up? How can we do here?
Yeah,
And
it was back when follows for follow trains and all that
yeah,
was a
yeah,
thing, and it wasn't against policy. Yeah, that
right.
that was a thing.
Yeah. I know that, and it's just now on different platforms and especially on TikTok, I see that you have a more it's better to not go into those rooms that come up sometimes. If you want you to grow your platform and to go to the next level, try to do a organic relationship with your people.
Yeah,
Get you'll have more of a better you get a better relationship with people that you actually engage with. And
100%.
and that's the key. Like you can have this follower, but the fact is that you guys say, I'm gonna give you a follow because I like what you have to give down. And a lot of people that come into my lives, I remember them. I remember them because when they go live, I go into there and we just support each other like a network, and I love it. It's very addicting and it's enjoyable. It's a pleasant thing to do.
It is very pleasant. For those of you guys that don't know, maybe this is your first episode of this series. I'm HK Jewel. I'm a social media teacher. I've been streaming for over 2 years on this platform. And Diesel right here was actually on my very, very first live I've ever done, which, like most of us, don't know what to do. And I was building a microphone stand and plugging in my recording equipment for a podcast.
Right?
And I was using the chat to help me because I couldn't understand the instructions.
Yeah, I
And that
remember
was
that.
my very first live.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember that.
there were two pink chairs that used to be in this room, and I
Mm-hmm.
would sit in the little corner with the pink chair, my pink microphone, and I was putting this equipment together. And that lifelong relationship that you're talking about, like of those streamers' reciprocity, that's it right here. Like on average, TikTok says that a gifter stays in a creator's life for about 4 months, and then they move on to a different streamer.
Right,
Most of the folks that come into my life have never left.
right,
Once they
right.
come in and you develop that bond, they stay.
Yeah.
And but one of the struggles is getting them into your live stream. Everyone struggles with that. What is one struggle that you feel like you faced that you either have overcome or you're working on overcoming, but it's something that's consciously in your mind?
Well, that's an excellent question that you have for me, and I have a pretty good answer with that. The thing that, I was struggling with was conversation to have instead of, "Hey, good morning, how you doing?" The normal things that you say to someone that you would see at a gas station or going in the door. But I seen that if you can get the individuals to engage with you and engage with the chat, it makes time goes by pretty quick because next thing you know, we're all sitting around the campfire. And we're sitting around the
That is so.
campfire and we're just sharing different stories and having different conversations. And before you know, a couple hours went past. And when I tell you a couple hours goes past, it goes past pretty quick that you forget that you had your laundry going and you burned the muffins and everything else. And you're like, oh my gosh, where I'm going. You get lost in it because you're enjoying yourself. So that's where I struggled at, and now where I'm at with things is what I learned to do is that whenever Diesel goes live, I actually have a topic that we're going to cover in there. And I allow for the individuals in my chat to have a voice as well. and it reads back their chat, and they love that. I noticed that people love the fact that when they send a text off to you or send a message, it reads it out loud to where their words and they have a voice.
Mhm.
So every time I choose to go live, I actually give everybody a heads up the day before what the topic is going to be about.
That's
And
smart.
you'll have so many people come in there, and that's honestly how I get a stronger network. And it's not honestly, it's with the gifts and so on. That's not so much what I do it for. Those are always welcome,
Mhm.
of course, right? But it's the
They
engaging and
move
it's
the
the
stream.
information. Yes, yes, I'm
Yeah.
there for the stream. I'm there for the good communication, and I'm there to uplift a lot of people because you never know what people are dealing with. And when they come over to my live, we have some pretty good music playing as well, and
You
it's a
do.
good community. And what I like about is, on TikTok is that they actually, I don't know if it's a partnership, maybe you can answer that question, but you can actually put through with Spotify as well, and your chat can request out songs. So my chat that's in there, and we're talking about different types of music, and I mean, you haven't heard everything. Nobody's ever heard every song out there. You
No.
get a lot of people come out there. You get a lot of people that will play music that you never heard before, and you'll like it. And you got to open up your door to everybody being different because we are all different, but we are all the same. So,
100%. That
yep.
that's such a good response to that, because I'm always telling people, like, make sure that you're posting content, not just expecting one type of content to go viral, but using one content to leverage a different aspect of your journey. So
Hmm.
you literally touched on the subject of posting as a preemptive measure, kind of like to guide that process and give a little bit of anticipation. Kind of
Hmm.
like right now, I don't know if you have any friends or any family members that are Swifties,
Hmm.
but Taylor Swift is genius when it comes to Easter egg hunts. She's
Okay.
brilliant into the anticipation. That woman has been planning and schematizing how to release all of these things. And I've been watching these Swifties go wild with this
Hmm.
eager, and it's like this puzzle and this puzzle. And today she had a big launch, and it is a drop and this, and what you're doing is no different. You're
Hmm.
literally creating that little anticipation where you're kind of giving them a heads up, like, hey, this is what we're going to do, but we don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow until somebody brings that topic back. And I think that's
Yes.
lovely.
Yes. That's one thing that I would tell you. We have different topics because we can go all the way from, you know, one of the topics that we had a hot topic that we talked about for 2.5 hours. I kid you not. This is
Pineapple
every,
and ham.
no, no. Do you wear socks to bed? Yes or no?
Oh my gosh, that was one of my questions this morning.
Oh my gosh. It might have been a ripple effect because we were 2.5 hours deep into it, and people were talking about, like, as far as, and I can't wear socks because I feel like I'm suffocating. And then people were
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, you got a bag over your head? Like, what's going on here? And it was just like, it would just kept going. And then we start talking about the different types of socks. And then I told them I wear socks in my house because I have hardwood floors. And
Uh-huh.
I like the socks that have the skids on the bottom of them so I don't slip and fall. And they were like, "Well, you got the hospital socks," and it's just so fun. We have a good
I
time with
have
it,
the hospital toe socks for
right?
walking around my house, and some people hate the feeling of the toe socks. But I cannot sleep with the toe socks. I have to have the soft, fuzzy Christmas kind that doesn't, like, you cannot step on hardwood floor because you will definitely face plant.
Mm.
Those are the socks I sleep because they get warmer.
Well,
And
that's
then
the
this
thing,
way I can stick my foot out and the rest of my body can be under the blanket.
Jules. That's exactly how it was in our live in that live a couple last week on Thursday. It was to the point that it was so much engaging on there that the people took that live that I had hosted to
Yeah.
their live, and that was the topic in their live, and they were like, you know what Diesel was talking about? Matter of fact, who wears socks to bed and who don't? And it was just like wildfire, and it was all fun in games, and everybody we went to the part of talking about socks to adults wearing onesies and who would wear a onesie. So that was probably the best thing on that I really do like, and it's just how you can engage with people.
Yes, but that planning is super important, and it's definitely something that we touch upon, and maybe I need to touch upon a little bit more often on the streams. But like, people think that we show up onto these streams like willy-nilly, and that there's no, and maybe that was on the beginning, but as you evolve as a streamer, there's method to the madness. So I give tips and tricks, but oftentimes people don't have questions. They come in the vibe, right? At that
Mhm.
point, what do you do? So I always have a monitor to my right. And in there, I have yes or no questions. I have would you rather questions. And I have daily holidays, the weird national holidays that
Mhm.
helps people create content. I can't remember what today is, but there's always like something weird that you can create content around, like National Spaghetti Day or
Mhm.
National Meatball Day, whatever. And so having those pre-planned thoughts ahead of schedule for your stream, I think it's fantastic. And I think that that is definitely a milestone that you overcame from the beginning when you said, I didn't know what to do. And now
Right.
you know what to do. And now you're
Right.
planning.
Yes. Yes. We got a nice
Yeah.
topic coming in tomorrow. The topic tomorrow is what is your comfort food? What is your comfort food?
See, my comfort food is different than my favorite food.
See, that's what I'm saying. Because of what happens is that we get people in there and they'll talk about their comfort food, and then you'll have the chat. They'll start saying, "Well, do you put sauce on that comfort food? Because you need to try it with sauce." And it just evolves from there. And then people are like, "I never ate that before." And basically, I'm opening up the door for a good community to come there, listen to good music, and build good friendships that sometimes they can potentially evolve into real life. Well, off of social media, where they would travel and meet their friend that they actually met in Diesel's live, you know?
And yours has evolved because you talked about starting on Instagram,
Mhm.
and you're now telling me that you do these live streams on TikTok.
Mhm.
And then from TikTok, I know we just recorded a podcast episode. You want to do a pitch for your pet podcast?
Oh,
Because
okay,
now
here we
there is
go.
a podcast too.
Yeah, right. So I have a podcast. My podcast show is called Shed Talk 29. Reason being, I came out with that name right there is 29 used to be my old football number back in my days when my knees were better, and the shed comes because I am recording in my shed in my backyard. I have
A
power
he
heat and
shed.
everything. Don't She don't know what she's talking about. Ain't no he shed. We got a grown
The
man
he
shed in here,
shed.
right? So what we do, so here's my pitch. It is basically welcome to Shed Talk, um, where we sit down, we talk to entrepreneurs and small business owners from all over the world, and people who have inspiring stories and different journeys. Just come on there, and I open up the platform for you to come on to my platform and get you out there all over every last platform available.
Nice. Well, I may have to come back to talk about HK Spark Media um,
Yes.
instead of Supernatural.
Hey, for sure. Because like I said, because everybody has a story. Everybody has a story, and when I say that, that is the truth. That everybody has a story. So a
We
lot of
do.
people just feel that nobody wants to hear their story. Well, on my podcast show, I make sure that if you have a story or journey, I'm going to give you the free opportunity to tell the world exactly what you're up to. And
And I think
and
that's fantastic.
that's all. That's what we're supposed to do, and that's what I enjoy doing it because it inspires me too to talk to people that have been in low valley places and now that they're in a better place in their life. Somebody who overcome different illnesses in their life. People who overcame anxiety now they're runway models. You know,
Nice.
that
Yeah.
those are kind of inspiring stories that people may search for that kind of content because if they want to go and be a model, but they're too nervous and it's just the inspirational. You got to be. I want to be the beacon. The beacon. That's why I'm set up on here. The beacon of bright light. That's why I go live because I want to give out as much positive energy as possible.
No, and you do because I've been in your streams and
Mhm.
I've followed a lot of your journey and I've seen that you not only care but you also take time to know the people. And I've seen that a few times you've co-hosted before
Mhm.
and you always spend time like shedding light to shedding, see that pun intended,
Mhm.
shedding light to their journey and you talk and like you know them. You
Right.
know the story. You take some time to listen and that sometimes can be a little bit taxing. It takes energy. A lot of
Right.
people don't see social media as like a job or like something that is exhausting, but it does take a lot of it. You give a lot of yourself to the
Yes.
stream, to your team. So
Mhm.
what does a normal day routine for you look like? Like today I'm going to stream versus a day that you record? Like, what does a regular schedule look like for you?
Okay, whenever I go to stream and I go live, I let my followers slash my friends know what time I'm going live. That depends on exactly what time I'm available. If I'm at work and I'm working during the week, you're only going to see me maybe on a Saturday when I'm off for at least 2 hours, and I'll have a good topic to cover. Now, what as far as and it goes with the content, something that I picked up off of what you said is that you need to post as much as you can, and post whatever you got in your camera reel. That's what I do. And right now, we have a campaign that should be a lifelong campaign for everybody that is able to do. Is 22 push-ups for 22 veterans out there that are losing their life daily to PTSD. So I do
That's
22
interesting.
push-ups. I do 22 push-ups a day. Well, I do more than that, probably about 166, because once you get once you get into this network with so many people, they tag you, and you want
Oh,
to. So what I do is I duet whatever they actually tag me in, and it's so here's the win-win off of that right there. You're getting in shape. It's motivational for you, and you're also spreading awareness to the point to where I actually have a bracelet on that came in from the guy who originally started this,
that's
Joe
amazing.
Roofer. He sent this to me, and it's 22. What is it? 22 we're strong. 22 two lives too many, and it has the American flag on there. And I wasn't in the service, but I had family members that were in the service, and I'm just want to show my support, and 22 veterans losing their life daily on an average is 22 too many, and it's just
It is.
awareness, and that's kind of what I got going on there. But I'm always trying to post as much content as possible. If I'm going to cook something, or if I see something pretty cool out there on my hunting property, I'm pulling out the phone for it, and I'm just putting that to the side that I'm gonna make sure I post this.
I joke that a lot of times it's I blame it on my tax lady. Her name is Lisa, and I like to shout out people and give credit where credit's due. But I joke that every time I pull out my phone, if I hear somebody says "ugh," I'd be like, it's a text deduction, and then they leave me alone,
Right,
um,
right.
because everything becomes content. But with that routine in mind, and you're talking about mental health, you brought up using your platform for good and talking about like a positive change and like promoting mental health awareness. What do you do to decompress after a stream? Like, what kind of advices do you give to someone to decompress from a stream?
First of all, when you decompress, I would say put your phone on charge. Uh, And, if there's nothing immediately going on your phone that you have to tend to, put your phone down for half an hour to an hour, and relax your mind. Take in what you were just doing, because it is a mental stress as well. And I like to use the pew pews, aka the different firearms, but it's pew pews on different sites. And
Yes.
I use that as a way of my outs. And it's just when you go live, you have to prioritize.
Yes.
If you have things to do in a day, find some time to go live for an hour when you got some downtime. And whenever you're not live, walk away from your phone and just enjoy life. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
count your blessings. And like I said, with my lives, when I go live, I try to take mental notes from everybody that was in there. We had a touching
Yep.
story today, and uh, if you are having a bad day, talk to somebody, because if somebody else is having a bad day too. So
One
that
thousand
may,
percent.
yeah, like I will tell you this, that I'm so involved in going live and being supportive, that some of these stories and some of these situations, they actually bring me close to having tears, because it hurts, because I somebody that is choosing their time to come in here, and they're hanging out in here because of the chat is so positive, and then they tell you that they are currently in a situation to where they don't have power, or they just lost their job, and this live right here was beneficial for them, and it was positive, and thank you so much. That alone helps me get through the day even more. It makes me feel like I did
Mm-hmm.
my job. I reached out to someone that I did something more positive. That's all.
And that goes straight into the next topic, which is community, like the importance and value of community to you.
Mhm.
Um, there's some streamers out there that some people feel like are removed from society, that they don't have a connection with their community. And there's some streamers that have a deep connection with their community. How do you feel your relationship with your community is?
Oh, well, my relationship with the community is very good. It changed a little bit when my sons went to college, but being that I host a podcast show, when I'm talking to strangers out there, I make sure that I let them know I got a podcast, and I want to find out exactly what kind of work that they're into, because you'll be surprised how many people out there want to tell you their story about whenever they went hunting, or this person just
Mhm.
opened up a business and they want to get their business out there. And they'll say something, for example, like, "Hey, what's that say on your hat?" And I tell them what it says, and I'm like, "Yeah, I got a podcast show. I do this part time, not full time." And they're like, "Oh, that's cool." And then they'll give me their business card and they'll say, "If you ever want to hear what I got to say, come on there." And it's just networking. And I still continue to network. And I always am an individual. I like to show everybody where their water's at, because you can't make them drink, but I'm somebody going to show them where the water's at.
Absolutely. And so community is a big factor. I see that. I see how you give back a lot to your community too. And there's a lot of reciprocity in there.
Hmm.
And you're using that platform to showcase a lot of people of your
Hmm.
from your community, which I think it's fantastic. And you said that this is part-time. Is this an aim to go full-time, or is this something that you want to continue part-time and just let it like see where it goes?
I would say that for me, it will never be full time, because I can never sit still. I love the line of work that I do in construction. And when I have downtime, this is something that I can see myself doing for, say, I'm off of work for 2 to 3 months. I could do this. And I try to squeeze in interviews all the time, because I still want to stay fresh on it. You know,
Mhm.
um, going full time on this would not be my goal. Unless something drastically changed in my life. But, I always wanted to have my own hunting show. That's something that I would do full time if I could. But and then I
Manifest it.
Yeah, right, 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 right. So that's just something that, this is something I do in my downtime. When I got downtime, I'm not just sitting around, I'm not sitting around playing a video game. I'm interacting with people and I'm sharpening the information bank so I can take in some more information. If somebody's going to tell me how they fix the flat a better way, or somebody wants to tell me a good story, I feed off a positive energy. And that's why I really like the stream.
Nice. So this is great because oftentimes people think that like when you do something that you always have to turn it into a business, or that you have to always be the most or like full time and all that. And to some of us it turned into that. And but to some people it's not, and that's okay. And it's nice because our listeners can see themselves doing something part time and not feel pressure to think that like everyone has to be like an aggressive like full time streamer, because that's not for everyone. But this does have a space for everyone that wants to have that connection, that bond, that expansion. So it's
Hmm.
great that you have that mindset and like, no, I enjoy this. I want to do this, but I also enjoy this. And it's okay to do both.
Right.
I feel like oftentimes there's such a big push to be
Hmm.
like aggressive. Um,
Right.
I'm one of those. I can't say I'm a tourist through and through. I'm as competitive and as aggressive as they come with myself.
Me too as
And
well. I'm a Taurus as well. I was born in April.
yeah,
I know.
so but it's nice to be able to tell other people that it's okay to take a step, or even myself, it's okay
Right.
to take a step back and not be and have that mindset to be able
Right. Right.
to do all things. If you could look back and say, HK, we're having this conversation. I have a 1 day do over. I'm going to go back to my first day of streaming. What is the one thing you would tell yourself?
One thing I would tell myself is, take your time, um, be patient, um, more so, crawl before you walk. When I say crawl you before you walk, I mean we have high expectations whenever we go live. We really do. But you got to give yourself a little grace because of your first live, you may get one or two, maybe four people max in there. And then the next day, you may
Absolutely.
just get like two people. So I think I would tell myself to give myself more patience and take your time and let this evolve instead of stopping and doing research to see how I can get as many people in that room. Because I will tell you this from somebody that had, when I started out, only having like two people, now I average probably right around 15 to 20 people. At
That's
one point in
great.
time, at one point in time, I had a panel, well, not a really a big panel, but the topic we were talking in here about was about whole foods and eating healthy. I had 165 people in there, and I was texting my mods, the moderators, and say like, "How many of those are real?" And they're like, "Every last one except for two." That was a lot. Like,
Hmm.
everybody say they got the stage fright, but whenever you got that many people looking at you through that little device and waiting for you, it becomes a lot. So if I had to look back, I would say I would tell myself to give myself grace and take your time and you'll get there.
Absolutely. And the roller coaster is impressive. Like I've had, oh gosh, like two people in the room to
Mhm.
during a particular event, like a special topic and a special thing with people in boxes. I wasn't alone. So there was a little bit of like push, like
Right.
hundreds of people in the room. And I know exactly what you mean about that overwhelming, like be sure that you know how to manage and you know how to, but having the realistic expectation and setting realistic goals, like saying,
Mhm.
that was an interesting topic that happened, but like that's not the norm. Let's go back to like the day-to-day grind and being able to push through. A lot of people have these like very unrealistic expectations and they think like, hey, I'm gonna stream and I'm gonna be a like an A-leaguer if you're
Right.
familiar with the TikTok language, like from the start. And that's not always the case. I mean, TikTok alone, you have 600,000 people that go live every single day just in the US.
Wow.
Last year it was 400,000. So that's a 200,000 people increase live streaming every single day. Imagine opening your store and there's 600,000 other stores in the same street,
Mhm.
and that person chose your store to go into. And so
Mhm.
that mindset of gratefulness and be like, hey, it grows from 1 to 2 to 10 to 15. Take your time, and grind, but make sure it's balanced, right?
Right. Correct.
Like, how do you balance your life?
You basically you got to keep your priorities at hand. You got to know exactly what your priorities are, and you got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. If you're going to go streaming, you need to have a plan. You whenever you go live, the door is always evolving on the waves and who actually comes through there. Like your analytics and know exactly when your peak time is for you to go live.
Hmm.
But you got to basically mentally or write it down. You have to have a structured plan to follow. So if you follow that right there, it'll be good. So if you need a break off of here, like myself, I do.
Hmm.
I take a break with no regrets. Just because I didn't go live that day and I was under the weather, I just wasn't feeling it. I choose not to go live, and I don't feel bad about it because I'm human. I got a life
Hmm.
just like anybody else, and I know that it's nice when you go back live and they say, we missed you," and that means that you're a really big impact, and that's something that's very rewarding.
That's so true when they check in on you and you don't even realize that you made a difference. Like, and it's, you know you're regulars, but there's always people in the shadow that you don't know you're impacting. And then all of a
Mhm.
sudden you miss that day and you get a message from this person. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that you were paying attention. And now I'm
Mhm.
consciously aware of all of these people behind the scenes. But not all of them are positive and not all of them help you transition. In this world, there's a lot of trolls. How do you handle trolls?
Well, how I handle trolls is that at one point in time, I was your moderator in your lives.
And then you
So,
had to disappear. I didn't
yeah,
unmod him. He had to
right,
take a
right, right.
break,
Yeah,
and he
I had
didn't
a
help
life,
me.
life,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
But that when I was introduced to the trolls, and what you can claim people what trolls are, but it was they try to. they try to mess with your positive energy that you have and going on in your lives. And I had a little bit update. I mean, I had a little bit heads up from going in your lives and knowing what can potentially happen in my lives. And one thing I do is that I would actually not read out what they're saying out verbally, loud.
Mhm.
I would actually read in my mind and I would immediately just mute it and just remove them. Like, okay, I guess you're not having the best day today. And just
Right.
keep it going. Just keep it going. And that's in case if my mods don't get them before I do. But I make sure that I read out every last comment. And when the moderators, I mean, whenever you get some trolls that come in there, they kind of make themselves known and they want to be known. And you can just tell them, hey, I hope you have a better day because it doesn't sound like you're having a good day. We're having a good day in here. Have a good one. And that's it. And just keep it moving.
And it's so true. They do feed off of the positive energy, and it seems that the more positive you are, the more it attracts that. But
Hmm.
I'm proud to say that I have a probably like 40 to 60% conversion rate of
Right?
trolls to gifters.
Wait a minute. You
Um,
you turn the haters into fans.
oh, 1000%. I
Oh
in
man. You're
that's a that's
invested.
that's a skill I've been practicing for a while. I usually I start by thanking them for working for me by rolling that chat and engaging and spending their energy on me, and
Mm.
therefore like I appreciate their labor. That tends
Hmm.
to trigger them usually one way or another because they're like, oh my gosh, she's right. I just gave her fuel, and so I actually like this wasn't something I mastered on the beginning. It took a good whole year for me to be
Yeah.
able to like
Yeah.
turn it into fuel. And now I use it as fuel. And
Right.
then we turn it into a joke and it turns into a corn game. Have you watched The Children of the Corn?
Yes.
Okay. So in my chat, we let the trolls roam and work a little bit, but the chat dictates the fate of it. If corn emojis start throwing up in the chat and or corn gifts go on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
that's the chat saying we've had enough. Send them to the children of the corn, and then I'll just
Ah,
wave
I
them
got you.
goodbye, and then they go their merry way. So we
I
have a
like
whole
that.
process now.
I like
Um,
that.
but that's a big topic for new streamers. So if you're out there and you're struggling with trolls, whether you mute it, whether you block it, whether you play with them and turn them into your worker bees, whatever you decide to do, be conscious that you're going to have to think about it before you stream because you're going
Mm.
to have a plan. And that plan cannot deviate from your stream. You cannot give the wrong energy that will take away from your stream.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Correct. One thing to add on to that as well, as being a live streamer myself, that you have to build kind of a thicker skin than you have.
Mm-hmm.
If you decide to go live, I will tell you this, that I don't know if that's in a disclosure or whatever you agree to, but you have to have thick skin because I have seen a couple people they were in my chat and they said I went live and it was horrible because if they're like the people what they were saying in my chat. I couldn't believe that and I could never subject
um,
myself to that. And I said, you know what? Listen, make sure that you keep your personal life to you and
mm-hmm.
don't let nobody know what you don't want them to know. And you'll get positive energy. That person will probably never come back into your life again. And the person, she actually decided to go live again, and she's so happy that she got over that because now she's doing like 16 to 25 people in her live. And
Nice.
I'm actually one of her moderators, and she's always positive energy when she goes live at lunchtime. And she's having a good time. And she said, "I'm so glad you helped me get over that troll bridge." And I said, "They ain't go away. They're still around. They'll always be
They're
there."
there.
So.
No, that's fantastic. And you talked about moderators twice already.
Hmm.
And I think that that's something that if I could give an advice, and I don't think we've touched in other episodes, but I don't think I've said this before. Be a moderator before you go live. Be
Hmm.
somebody's moderator. You're
That's
going
what
to
I did.
learn a lot as a moderator of what they're going to experience and
Hmm.
how you can control a lot of the stuff and how to do some of the dance.
Right.
If you can tough it out as a moderator for a little bit, that's your first clue that you can tough it out as a
Hmm.
streamer.
Mhm.
But if you can't handle being a moderator and knowing when to mute, when to block, when not to take personal, when to let the chat roll, what's a joke, what's not a joke, maybe content creation as a live streamer might not be for you, but maybe content creation as like post creation might be for you, or
Right.
video creation, as long
Right.
as you don't read that comment section. There's some videos I've posted out there that I refuse to look at the comment section because I know I posted to instigate, and then
Right.
I know that I don't want to read it.
Right. Right. Oh, so you stirring the pot a little bit. You know, it's
um, Sometimes I do.
right. I got you.
Sometimes I do just to prove a point, just to see who's watching all the way through the end of the video.
True. 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 True.
Like, I just want to see like how many folks actually like take some time, or instead are just like here for like, I just out of curiosity, experimentation, you know?
Yeah.
So
I picked up on that from you. You're one person that I know when I do see your content, when I'm going to the follow section instead of the you section, your content pops up quite frequently. And there was one time at one point in time you did post a video and you were saying, "Hey, pretty much watch through this video. At the end of this video, I'm gonna say something," and put it in the chat. And I seen that if you are really watching the whole video, you'll watch it to the end, and then they'll post something in the chat to let you know that
mhm.
they watched it through. And I was going to do that, and I was thinking like, am I going to get upset with all my friends that I think that are supporting my content and they don't even watch my videos all the way through? But
I think it's hilarious because there's some people that truly want to support you, but they don't have the time, so they still engage. But it's
right,
really funny to see the people, and then I tend to pick on them, as a teacher in me, and they all come back in the class. I'm like, you didn't watch that video all the way. You did not see the remote controller in
right,
the fridge. I put
right.
Easter eggs on my videos all the time.
Right, and you asked that, yeah, you'll ask them like, "Hey, when you watched my video, I seen that you like that. Did you see that what I said at the end?" "No, I didn't. Yeah, I seen that." "Okay, well, can you tell me about that?" And they never reply, and they're like, "You know what? I'm sorry, I didn't." But it's just all it's engaging.
But you know what's really good about it? You tend to find your copycats. I do certain videos that are educational. Not like I do a lot of educational video, you know that, but maybe the viewers don't. A lot of like do's and don'ts and tips and tricks of TikTok. And some of the videos are satire on the beginning. It's
Mhm.
me making fun of some fab and some ludicrous thing that is circulating the TikTok street to debunk those myths. So I'll like act it out. And then at the end, I'm like, you guys, did that make any sense to you? Because that makes
Right,
no sense at all. And I'll
right,
break it down. But people don't get past it. So then they'll go and copy that first half video
right.
like it's the truth.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
they'll come back and I'm like, listen, you are not doing because you're not paying attention all the way to the, and I've weeded out some other people that were like copying my content in regards to that because they'll do a verbatim, except they didn't watch all the way to know that that was wrong. And now they're
Mm.
spreading misinformation, and I can be like, look, not everyone out there knows
They
what
took
they're
a little
doing.
sound bite. They took a sound bite and then they chopped it around, and then they're
Hmm.
like, they didn't see it all the way through.
Yeah. And so I mean that's just like different things that you can do for content creation. Now, you started on Instagram, you went to TikTok, you have your podcast.
Mhm.
We're coming close to wrapping up our questions for today ish, because there's always going to be a part two. I always leave it open because eventually I want to do a follow up on the journey.
Mhm.
What do you see on your short and long term journey?
Short term for myself is to continue to have good engagement. Um, I would say that my short term is to have the good engagement and consistently stay transparent as much as possible every time I go live. And my long term goals for myself on here would be known as that image of positivity. That my name, when you would say Diesel Energy on there, it used to be Diesel Motivation.
Yes.
Um, I would like for it to be spread across that everybody knows. Like, people are just talking and my name known everywhere when it comes to the TikTok world. And it's the fact of the positivity and looking back whenever I'm not here, pushing up daisies. I just want to leave a positive, good message and good energy. That's where I would like to be. Just leave a positive, good mark. And that's my long term thing. Just always give out good positive energy and then keep engaging with new besties every day. And I don't pick up 15 a day. I pick up maybe 2 to 3 to 5 anytime I go live.
Mhm.
And this is off of the FYP page. Um,
That's good stuff.
and it's people that I first thing I do is always make sure I say, "Hey, how you doing? Welcome in. I'm such and such." And the thing that gets them is that they love the fact that I have Tickfinity that syncs with TikTok, and they'll say something in the chat, and they'll say, "Hey, how is that reading out everybody's comment and not mine?" And I said, "Well, whenever you're
Oh yeah.
connected with the host, that is a feature that is available, or my chat will put that in there. They'll put that if you're connected with the host, you'll have that access." And as soon as they get that opportunity to have a voice in their text, it kind of takes away from them not feeling seen. And then they
Hmm.
invite their friends in because of the topics that we cover are about whole foods. We're talking about socks. We're talking about is bleach good to clean with. We're talking about as far as when it comes to good relationships and is social media good for you. So it's always a good vibe though.
That's good. And tangible projects, do you have anything like I see a merch hat on your hat?
Oh
Is that
yes,
something people can get?
yeah. So here's the thing: is I'm working with a new creator. She actually made me a hoodie that she was
Oh,
live. She was live when she, matter of fact, okay, behind me, I don't know if your viewers can actually see it, but I have a sign for my Shed Talk. It actually came from an artist that actually made it for me live.
oh wow.
And and she made it for me and it's one of the big canvas paintings and she actually shipped it from Michigan within that week. I paid her for it,
Hmm.
and then the other merch that I have, I got tumblers with my logo on it, and then the new one I got is of a hoodie that her name is Susie Q. She's coming in from Tennessee. She made a
I think
custom
I've
hoodie
seen
for
her
me.
in my life. I think I met
Yeah,
her in your life, but I think I've seen her stop by.
she actually made me a custom hoodie with I believe in the good Lord, and she made me a custom hoodie with a scripture on the front pocket. And then on the back of it is two excavators with pushing up the cross on a hill. And she's getting that on the market because as she says she already had 3 requests. So that's something
Nice.
that I'm going for is that I do get a lot of things off of the TikTok shop because I love the TikTok shop. And
Don't we all?
yeah, we all love it. And everything that I get off of the TikTok shop, I do a review on it and I keep it in the cart. And I have had probably about a handful of sales on some things. So I'm trying to be more transparent and the merch that I get from some of these creators, I'm trying to see if they can make it available.
Perfect. So
Yep.
looking forward to that next stage where now people can not only engage with all your content, but like take a little bit of your content home with them.
Yes.
Any last bit of wisdom for people who are listening in and are about to hit that live button and start this journey? I know that you talked about organization, making a plan, um, crawl before you run. Um, and I'll skip the walk because I feel like a lot of people don't even walk. They literally
Yeah.
hit the live
They
button and they want
they
to like
want to
run marathons.
they want to fly. They want to crawl to fly. They just want to take
Yeah.
off.
And so, like, learn how to crawl first. I
Right.
think that
Right.
that's a good one. Is there any other thing that, as we were talking and as we were talking about community, merch, and all whatever, that may have popped into mind of like, hey, take some time to look at some of this too?
Um, some of the takeaways and advice I would give to anybody that's deciding to go live. Couple things that you want to remember. Go at your own pace. Be yourself. Be authentic. Be original. Don't try to be like the other person that's going live. Be yourself because you are yourself. You are a blessing. Truly be who you are. Find out what your niche is. When I mean what your niche is, find out what you are comfortable with doing every time you decide to hit that live button, and it organically will evolve. just like how my life is evolving. Like I'm closing in on getting close to 10,000 followers, and this is all natural, uh, hard work and good fellowships and good communication followers. These aren't, these aren't just, these randoms. These are people that truly love what I have to put out there. So I would just tell you overall, be authentic. Be that one mold. Be yourself and you'll do really well.
And where can they find you? Give us your handles, or at least a bit of like clue where they can
Okay,
find you.
okay. So where you can actually find me at on a couple links that I'll actually share with you,
It will be
AK.
on the description.
Yes, I will also send that over to you so you can find me on TikTok. I go on the handle as of Dieselenergy123. Also, you can find me on YouTube. That is Shed Talk 29. I'm on every last platform. We're on all the podcast platforms. If you have it and you listen to a podcast, you can find me on there. Also, my email address is definitely available on there as well. Um, and we'll just go from there.
Perfect. Well, I really do appreciate you giving us a lot of feedback and different perspective. I always like to get creators to share their journey so they can inspire and we can motivate some other folks to start this journey of their own. And if you guys end up listening to the podcast and starting your journey and you stop by any of our lives, please let us know so that way we know that you're reaching and that you're getting to meet another creator from different avenues that you may not have realized that existed. And if you are not on TikTok, I highly recommend. We're live there all the time, and you can see either of us streaming and come say hello, and say, we can talk to you more on a one-on-one basis. And with that, I cannot wait until we do a follow up. And on a little biased pitch, you guys, I really do recommend you go listen to his podcast, especially the night before Halloween. There will be a surprise. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to go there and find it the night before Halloween. Thank you.
Yes.
So, all right. I think it ended. No, stop.